We're going to start off a real basic introduction on Stream. Stream gets launched from an icon. The icon on your desktop can have a workspace identification in the property, in which case it launches directly into a specific workspace, which is a set of data or a database. If there's no workspace identifier on the command line when Stream gets started, it pops up a list of the workspaces that are available. We'll use config here, which is one of my testing areas. Then when StreamV comes up, it will either auto log in if you have that enabled, and I'll show you how to enable that a little further down the road, or it comes in with a login screen. Your login screen requires your user ID and a password. The password is case sensitive. Passwords can be configured on the system to either be free form, or they can have certain requirements, uppercase, special characters, minimum lengths, certain expirations. Those are policies that you can set in order to make the passwords more painful as required. Once you've entered your password, you click login. It's a two-step login in a sense that if the user is allowed to change things like the division they're working in, the year, default location, date, department, period, or language, these fields are available. If the user is not allowed to, then the fields are not available, and you can just press continue to finish the login. There's a checkbox here called Auto Start Views. If that checkbox is checked, then when you log into the system, it will automatically restart all of the views that you had when you logged out the last time. So if you constantly go into 3 or 4 views, it saves you having to pick them from the menu, and you can just auto start them. At this point, while the focus is on continue, you can also change your password, and on the bottom of the view, it shows various pieces of information. This section right here shows you where your user home directory is. It shows you where the program's loaded from. It shows you version information. And this field down here can be set by the system operator and allows them to put a message of the day. In the case of OFM, we got a snowstorm, we're closing down early today, be done by 3, or whatever the daily message is. If you're a system operator, this field on the bottom shows up and lets you set various debug levels. Once you continue, you are in the application. Now, it prompted me for my initials because I am for my login information based on my initials, because I'm logged into the system in Windows as a different user. If I was logged into Windows as Frank, and then I went in with my initials, and this field in the user record was filled in, it would then auto log me into Stream, so that I would not have to go through the login process first on Windows and then on Stream. That's auto login. If you're in a domain, your domain name goes here. If you're not in a domain, then the domain that Windows defaults to is called unknown DNS. So that is the auto login feature. Looking at the operator information that you log in, your initials, whether or not the operator is active. If they're not active, they can't log in. First name, last name, then the information that they default to, the division they're operating in, department, accounting year, period, their default location, and whether or not the operator is allowed to change this information. Normally, this information here, division, department, year, is picked up from the current system information, and the operators don't change it. Certain accounting people will be allowed to change the year and period that they work in. There's a checkbox to allow you to change the date to a non-system date. This is usually only allowed for system operators or accounting people. You have a default printer for your session. Your option level. Option level 9 means you're system operator. Anything less than that, you're not a system operator, and different security settings can be set based on option level. The default language. Then we have groups and branch. The system is based on 4 levels of control as far as features, security, and policies are concerned. The most specific level of control is based upon who's logged in. The least specific level of control is based upon what the global settings are. And in between, you can have operators associated with either groups and or branches. A group is something like accounting, sales, warehouse. A branch is normally a facility. If you have multiple facilities and the behavior of the system should be based upon what facility you're in, you can set the facility code there. It's an alphabetic code. So if a user belongs to groups A, B, and C, they would have A, B, and C in their group field. Groups are also called roles. Then the operator has a phone number, an email address. We talked about the auto login feature. Here's the password date. This tells you the last time the password was changed. And if you're using password expiration, it will expire a certain number of days after that. If you're a system operator or you have rights, you can get to the operator management view. When you're in the operator management view, you can look at an operator's login history. This shows you when they've logged in, when they logged out, how long they were logged in for. You can also look at their activity history. This shows you all of the different places where this operator has been to, the different panels and views, and how long they were in there, and various information about how they entered the view, if it was a query, if it was a drill down. These are mainly used for auditing and tracking purposes. So that's the operator manager. Every user on the system needs to be set up as an operator.